Good morning. Did that work? Good morning. Good morning. Hello? Yeah, looks like it's working. Getting some brushes. Setting up my screen. Now, what's going on with the YouTubes? Checking the YouTubes. Ooh, me on. Always takes a little bit of coordinating to get this on. Yeah, that's on, that's running. That looks good and that looks good. Okay, I'm set up. Set up. There. My little canvas here. It's only a tiny canvas. And that little cockatiel in the corner there that I've got here, this one, that's just a photo of one I've done before that was purchased by someone off my website, and they want a match, another cockatiel painted of another one of their own, so I'm painting that to kind of go with that one. It's got a few more spots and dots on it, this next one, so I'm going to start that. I've got my paints out. My paints. I just chucked a few colours on my palette, just kind of a whole lot. I can adjust that if I need to, and I need some medium. I forgot my medium. Always forget something. What am I going to use? I think I'll use my thin painting medium because it's fast drying. I like this one. It's not super glossy. I've got some other ones that are really glossy, but this one's kind of got my coffee as well. All right, I'll get started. I'll just get started. I've done a little outline already, so I can not worry too much about that. Take a brush. I'm going to use my hog's hair flat, medium size, well, it's actually small to medium really, brush, and I shall just, what am I going to do? Just gonna reiterate that outline a bit. I'll leave that bit and put that bit there. Build up some layers. Not too worried about colours at the moment. I'm looking at tones mostly, so I should be careful with my tones from the beginning, I think. There's a lot of greys in these little Australian cockatiels, and then they've got the nice little orange blush kind of cheek thing going on. And how's that working? Yeah, that's good. I'll grab another brush, so I'll have two brushes on the go. Slightly smaller brush, because I want to, but not that small. Where's one? Oh, dropping brushes. I'm going to use this round one. I just want to put the eye in too, because I like to get that eye in fairly quickly. And it's a very dark eye, this one. But I think I'm missing one more colour. I forgot. I need brown. Brown. Actually, you should always put a little bit of brown on the palette, I think. A little bit of burnt sienna or some kind of umber. Because you can mix it with other colours to warm them up or cool them down. Just brown them off a bit, grey them off a bit. So I'm mixing a bit of burnt sienna with my black just to put the eye down here. Just to get it under, painting for where the eye is. And yeah. So that's a little composition. I kind of like this composition because it's Starts at the bottom and it goes right off the top of the thing. So when you look at it as a whole shape, it's just this shape. And I've got 2 negative spaces on either side and just a couple of little ones in the middle. It's a nice little balance there. Now I want to mix up some grey. So I'm going to leave that kind of blacky colour I've got on my brush and just mix a bit of white through it and see what colour I get. So I can, actually I'll put a little bit of pink through it, a little red through it, because around his eye is a little bit pink. So I'm just going to put that on there like that. And his beak is actually quite pink, so I'm going to mix some pink through that. And actually a little bit of yellow to warm it up. And I'm going to paint in that, a little bit of underpaint on that beak. Let's get that down as well. So what have I got to talk about today? What am I talking about today? I've been writing a blog every week. So just, I'll do a blog entry every week and just, I'll try and relate it to something I've done during the week. And it doesn't matter what it is really, but the reason why I want to do this blog thing is because it gets me using my my website. So being a bit active on there, which is really good for the Google algorithms. So if I use my website, share it around a bit, Google likes that, and then when people want to search for me at all in anything, I come up easily in a search. So that's part of why I do it. Plus I kind of enjoy, I'm enjoying just writing some just stuff down, you know, coming back to it later, just popping that beak in. Yeah. So that keeps me busy, and it's been so hot here in Adelaide. It's been really, really hot weather, and I discovered actually when I was writing my recent blog, I did a little blog on acrylic paint, and I discovered that, because I'd never thought to look it up before, but why does acrylic paint dry darker than you know, when it goes on wet? Like something you know, but I hadn't really thought about why it does that. And the reason why it does that is because the acrylic kind of substance it's made out of, the acrylic resin or whatever, when it's wet, it's opaque and white, like, you know, when you have glue, say glue for example, and it's white, it goes on, it's white and opaque, but when it dries clear, and that's the same stuff that happens with acrylic paint. Those binders in it dry clear, but when they're wet, they're white, so the white tints up the colour, and that's why it's lighter when it's wet. And then it goes clear, those binders, and then it just darkens. It darkens because you see the colour of the paint rather than the binders that are lightening it up. So that makes me wonder if you're using thin paint and what's underneath it is white, and then you paint on top of it so you don't have colour underneath it, would it, I guess it would dry sort of more true to the colour maybe. Actually, I don't know. That's a weird one really. So that was just a sort of little thing I was thinking of. One thing I like to do right at the beginning of paintings is put that little white dot in the eye, because that will give it show me in which direction it's looking, which direction it's looking. So now I'm going to have another sip of coffee. So I really like acrylic paint. I really like that it dries so quickly, because see, I've just put that down and that's dry enough to do that and not smudge it around, which means I can put my next layer of paint on top in a minute, you know. So it's pretty good like that. So I'm just going to take a bit of that yellow up there and a bit through here. Just sort of not too... I'm keeping the paint fairly thin at the beginning as well, because don't want lumps at the beginning. I may not put them in later either, but if I put lumps in now, they're going to be there permanently, so that wouldn't be too good. Just mixing a bit of Indian yellow is an interesting colour, so I'm mixing Indian yellow with a magenta to get a really nice kind of orange, which I'll just put down there for the minute. Like that. So he's a grey bird. I'm going to add some grey in a minute. And he's spotty. He's got lots of spots here. So I'm wondering if I will... The white spots and there's grey. So I could do this two ways. I could put down like a grey underpainting. And when that's dry, I could put some white spots on top. I put like a white underpainting and then put some grey outlines of spots down there. So I could do that either way. So I might just put down some grey then. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to scribble some down there like that. I'll lighten it up a bit now with a bit of white and a little bit of yellow ochre. Just get a little bit of a scribble there as well. I guess lighter is good as this way, so I'm going to add some more white, more yellow ochre to it. Maybe a little bit of light purple. Ah, damn it, I accidentally put my brush in black. Remix, that's alright. Medium. I'm just going to... See, I can go over that paint and it doesn't blend with it. And that bit of black was on my brush, so that's why I'm going to leave it. I just put a spot and a dot down the back here with some of that colour. It's a little bit lighter than that, so I can bring it up there a bit. More white, using what's on my brush to mix with what I want next. My little cockatiel, he's coming along. Little spots and dots. So I'm just going to do some very gentle marks up here, because that's quite thin. His feathers get really thin as they go up. Oh, too thin. I don't want, there's a lump there. I'm going to just take that off. So that's alright. I'm just going to work in the direction of the feathers a bit as well. I might put a bit of a... Oh, I've got this. I'll put a few dots down here, so with this light colour. They get darker as I go that way, so I'm going to just see if this colour will cut it. Here's my quick... Comes together quickly, this little bird. Okay, so I want some really light yellow. I've got some Naples yellow, which I'm mixing with some white and some other yellow, and a tiny bit of grey in there I want to put. So it's not too yellow. And I'm just going to come through here a bit with some of that. And I need more medium. So what else has been interesting that's been happening around here? Besides not much. Yeah. Well, apart from the crazy hot weather, which has been really humid, lovely though. I mean, can't complain because I love humid. So, bit of rain we had this morning and last night, which was lovely. I'm actually growing some pumpkins, and the weird thing about pumpkins is, so I've got this massive pumpkin plant and only 2 pumpkins on it, and I don't know why the others don't want to grow. Like, you know, come on, pumpkins. But just 2 on this big pumpkin plant. So for some reason, and there's plenty of leaves and there's lots of flowers and there's bees, and I can't work it out. So I don't know, just going to put, okay, just might be a bit heavy that one. I have to think too, now what colour am I going to do the background when I get to the background? What am I going to want to do there? Okay, so just thinking, I think the eyes are a little bit small. Now I can't see a lot of detail in the photo I've got. I'm just looking at the other one I've got on there, the red one that I've put the image. I've got a little bit of detail in the eye, so I'm going to steal that thought and put it into this one. That idea, so a little browny kind of grey bit of eye, so I can I'm going to just do a little sweep of colour like that, and come back in with my little brush. Come back with that black. I'm using green black as opposed to ivory black or something. I like my green black because it's a little bit of a warmish black, but it throws green, not red, so it's not too warm, and it makes a lovely grey. It suits my colour palette. I'll have to put that white dot back in a little bit better. So yeah, he's slightly turned his head that way, so he's slightly weird. I need another a particular kind of small brush that I can do some little dots and things around the eyes. It's really light grey. Maybe some blue grey, some white. Oh, some pink. Pink in there. The skin around his eyes slightly pink. I don't think there's a great hurry for me to get this done, but I thought it would make a good little project for this, for YouTube's and Twitch. A little bit of tone under here. I'm going to have to exaggerate some of this tone actually too. And after I've worked on this for a bit, I've got to do some other stuff. So I'm going to look at portraits this afternoon. But I shouldn't talk about them now. Right. Step back, step back. That's something you should do all the time when you're painting, is step back. Step back is a good idea. Now, what do I reckon? Background. So I could have a look at that now and just sort of tweak the background a bit before I go into more detail on the beak and stuff like that. And that's kind of a bit fun too, so I probably should do that shortly. So pink. A lighter blue, a green, the other one's red, so I don't want to do a red. I want to do something a bit different. Maybe I could go for a kind of green. I think I'm just gonna check that. I'll get some green and pop a bit down to get a feel for what it's going to look like. I wonder if I should go, so I've got this kind of choice, this colour here, or I've got a slightly darker version of green. That could be quite nice. And I've got this other one. Yeah, maybe. Cockatiel. This one's a series 5, so it's super expensive. It's sort of bluer. Is it too? I think I need to I like the idea of this green first. I'm going to put this down because it's quite different to what's underneath it. So I'm just going to chisel out half of his face there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Put a bit of that. And I'm just going to do this side first. So I need some kind of brush that's going to give me a smoothish. And it's a little bit of, do I need medium? Probably don't. Maybe a little bit of medium. So this will give it a bit of, this will set the tone of the feeling of it. The vibe of the painting. I'm not too bothered about edges at the moment. The vibe of it. What do you reckon? And to, oh, some don't want shit in it. And to be honest, I don't even have to, the background doesn't have to just be one colour. I'll just smooth that off a bit. Yeah, I don't mind that. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'll keep going with the bird. It just gives me a feel for it. I don't know if I want to do a round whole thing one colour, so I'm not going to do that yet. I'll just leave it like that for a bit and move back to the bird now. So I'm going to go up in here with some grey, mixed with yellow, kind of grey. Again, but a different yellow this time. So I'm just going to pull that way. That way a bit. And some spots with that. More of a bluey grey I think I need. What else? I haven't got any notes. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Not much to say. February 2022, yeah. Yeah, that's a better tone. So these spots go right up here too. Need some tone behind there. Some darker, slightly darker, but soft. See, I probably should put background behind there if I'm going to put these feathers on top as well. So I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do behind there shortly. But I want to add, do I want to add more colour? I think I do, you know, I think I kind of want, well, I like that blue. So maybe, dark, yellow, bright. I'm going to put a bit of yellow down there. That's what I need to do. Some of this kind of yellow mixed with a little bit of white. Yeah. And just see what happens. See if it works, see if it doesn't. Could have been a wrong choice. But in it, yeah, okay, I'm gonna put some pink down. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not gonna put pink down, I'm gonna put some purple down. Put a little bit of purple down, yeah. Let's just do this. Let's just I don't want to carry the yellow across the top or put something completely different up the top in the other corner now. Or what? So while I'm thinking, I can go back to working on the bird, and you know, this is all dry, so I can just keep working on it. There's some dark, a little bit of dark thing happening in here. Oh, what's that? Don't want it too black, so I'll mix my black with that burnt sienna to kind of make it a bit browner because it's way too. If I just use straight black, it's just too dark. Doesn't look good. Continuing this theme of spots and dots. Okay, so I'm going to have to lighten up his belly a bit. Lighten his belly. Wash my brush and wipe it now. White. And some of that yellow. And a tiny bit of grey in here. This might be too light. Problem with acrylic paints, yeah, they dry darker like I was talking about before, but you know, you kind of get used to it. You kind of do. I just put some of this back on top, get a feel for how that is going to look over the yellow. I may need to darken that side actually because it's probably too yellow. Well, we've got light coming that way. There's some shadow up through the back of that there. So that makes it a little bit surreal. Hello, beautiful work. Thank you so much, SJ triple X. Thank you. I'm just trying to decide. I don't know if I like that yellow though, so I'm thinking I might go over it with, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, just I might mix a bit of, might go darker up there or something. Oh, open this blue up, mix it with a bit of. But I can easily just tweak that because that's dry. I only just put it down, it doesn't take long to dry. So if I, so now this might be a bit dark. It's not quite dry actually, it's mixing with the yellow a bit. So I'll just leave that for a sec. Just give it a little bit of time. But on the other side here, maybe that should be something. I'm going to make an interesting orange for the other side. I'm going to do, let's try this on this side. Yeah. I think I prefer that side too. Actually, I don't mind the way that's connected there, so I'm going to leave that. And I've got to change this, so I'll work on that in a minute. And I'm going to go back into here for a bit while that's drying. And the beak, maybe I should work on the beak, maybe I should work on the eye, around the eye. Where's my big brush? Full-time artist? Yes, I am actually. Yes, I paint and I teach. I teach painting, and I do commissions, which is what this one is, and just paint. Paint every day, really. I do paint a bit every day, and even when I'm teaching, I try to do a little bit in the morning or the evening. Morning mostly. Quite early. It's a nice time to paint. Keeps me busy. So this one's just a little commission of someone's cockatiel, spotty dotty cockatiel. And quite a bit of yellow on this one. These little Australian natives, little Australian birds. They're very cute. They're cute little personalities. And you can teach them how to talk. Yeah, okay, so that's that bit. I'm going to add to that orange cheek again. Just a bit. So what is that? Orange cheek with some of that in it. A bit of yellow up the top there, because it's sort of I wonder, I don't know. Maybe that's still wet. Maybe I could. We'll just keep thinking about that one. Okay, so where am I going now? Back into that back of the head. Bit of layering going on here. I just start layering the paint and building it up. And where I make mistakes, you know, I can make corrections. Just kind of continuously pull it together until something good happens. Oh, I need, yeah. Very cool. Thank you. It's a fun kind of painting, these little ones. I love doing little paintings like this because they're quite quick to come together. You know, you can paint it in an hour or two, and you always get to a point in a painting though where you just you kind of get a bit stuck, and you think, oh, not quite sure how to finish it off, so you got to put it aside for a little bit and think about it. I think that's kind of normal painting process. But yeah, it's fun. And the spotty bird, this one. Don't know if it's a male or female though, because the way to tell these cockatiels if they're male or female is under their wings. The females have yellow, and the males, no, or is it the males that, oh no, now I can't remember. I think the females have yellow under their wings, not the males. And the males have more yellow round and red around their head. So this one's probably female with the spots. But gee, I could be wrong. I used to have one. This one goes up there. This one. Now, I wonder if that's dry enough to sort. Oh no, it's still wet. Still wet that bit. I wanna go sort of more red with it. Probably should wait, so I'm going to just wipe that off because that is kind of bothering me a bit. So if I wiped a bit, it might dry quicker. It shouldn't bother me because, like, I know I'm going to sort of tweak it in a minute. But I want to tweak it now. I have to wait. I just have to wait for a bit. And that's the problem sometimes, where you get impatient and you shouldn't, because you mustn't get too impatient. Right. All right, I'll try now. Clean brush. So I'm thinking a really dark kind of red. Really dark red, maybe purpley red. Right, yeah, this is probably a better colour. Let's try. Let's just try. Because what it does, I need to make it a different enough colour. Let's blend them up to just drag that across there a bit. To make the bird itself stand out a bit. It's okay. It's not too bad, not bad. What do I need? I know what I need. Some of this yellow, bright yellow, and some Indian, get up my brush. Indian yellow. Just get rid of that. Just gonna, yeah, what do I want on there? Maybe that green. Okay, that's an interesting colour. A little bit of that there. See if I can balance it together. So I'm creating a little landscape now, kind of thing behind him. Which I'll have to work on a bit more. What if I... No, I've got to be careful. No, I'll just leave it for a minute, that bit. Now what? I think I'll go back into the beak and work on that a bit Do I want to clean that up a bit there? Or I like the big space there, and I'm gonna still go through the middle there in a bit. Alright, some detail around the eyes. Some nice detail around the eyes. How's this working out? Oh, where's my glasses? I could do with some glasses about now. I really should wear my glasses when I paint, but I forgot. I forgot them. The brown with a tiny bit of white. And then like that. Little bit of tiny brush, this one. Tiny, tiny. Okay, some more grey. I'm just going to bring some bit of tone under here because there's some, this is very rough, sort of bumpy skin here. And his nose hole's sort of up here somewhere. I can add a bit of detail around here. I could scratch that down a bit. It's a bit harsh. So I'll soften that up a bit here. It looks very different from the other bird. I can see that. Different pose. This one's, you can see he's quite standing up quite tall, and he's kind of he's in that kind of talking mood, an interactive mood. He's interacting with his owner. In the photo that he's actually sitting on his owner's shoulder. And he looks like he's kind of smiling. No, that nose hole's a bit more forward than that. So the nose hole's right about there. I'll get to that, back to that in a minute. A bit of detail through there. I've got to tweak that. Well, I've got this little brush. What's the time? So 11:30. God, what time did I start? Can't remember. So I'm just going to tweak the shape of this beak under here with the background. And a tiny brush, but actually the beak itself is a bit big, so I'm going to have to make it smaller. And put that right up there. There's probably a little bit of tone on this background, so I might just tweak that colour down with a bit of blue or something in it. Just in between there, because it's catching a little bit of shadow from the beak. And even though it's not really, it's It's where the background and the bird kind of merge a bit. It just might help when I put the beak back on top. Right. Still wet. Did I just? No, I'm good. Did I just? Tone under that beak. Yeah, we're going a bit brown now. That's better colour. You just on the end here. Layering now. The whole painting process is just a series of layers. So with acrylic paint, the best way to work is wet paint over dry paint. So you wait for your layers to dry and then you put your wet paint over the top. And oil paints, the best way to work is wet over wet paint. So you're putting wet paint into wet paint and you move it around on the palette. You can, on your painting as well, and you can keep working the paint when it's wet. But to do that with acrylic paints, you really need to use some kind of retarder or an open medium that keeps the paint workable, but I don't like it. When you add it, it feels a bit sticky. Like it affects the way the paint flows, and it sort of, I find it quite sticky and not nice. So I'd rather just wait a little bit longer and let it dry and go in with wet paint on the dry paint again. I like that. I really think that's the way to go with acrylics. And I know there are some people who wear it wet with acrylics using the mediums, but I don't know, I'll make him smile. It doesn't work for me. Looks like he's smiling now. He's actually, he's looking happy. Happy boy. That's what we want. Happy birds, happy pets. I mean, some pets just naturally look sad. Some dogs, they just, the way the jowls kind of, just get a wet one palette. The way the jowls kind of go down and the ears are floppy and they just look sad. But they're not, but they just look it. It's so cute. I mean, I love that. I love that about some animals. So, okay, I kind of like that dot there, but yeah, it shouldn't really be there, but I sort of like it. So I'm tempted to leave it, but I'm also tempted to tweak it. So I might just tweak it a little bit. I mean, it's weird that you could just get so excited about one dot, but it's sort of like that sometimes. A bit too pink probably, but I'll just narrow that up a bit. My little funny boy. So my cockatiel when I was a kid was called Mr. Naughty, and he wasn't naughty, but he well, one day he was because I'd let him fly around my room, you know, and he'd just fly around and had a great time, carry on. And one day I was sitting on top of my cupboard and I shut my cupboard, whoops, and I accidentally cut his little toe off, poor thing. But he got over it all right, and he was fine. But oh, I just felt so bad after that, so bad. It was terrible. I always checked from the top of my cupboard after that. Poor little darling. But he was a gorgeous bird. And then I got him a mate. And he wasn't that interested in her actually. She was interested in him, but he was sort of like more interested in just doing his own thing. Funny little thing. Okay, so I can't touch that because it's still wet. No. Oh, well. I'm gonna have to wait for a little bit for that one. Probably because I've put on so many layers, you know, and now it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of dry. So what else do I need to sort of touch up? I'm kind of liking it. I need to work on that beak a bit more. What else do I need to do? What else? I need to soften that bloody tone under that beak. It's too dark, but I keep getting it wrong. For some reason. Oh no, that's no good. Now he looks like he's kind of got an underbite. You can't have an underbite. I feel like I want to just make a green spot there for some reason. I'll probably come back and just get rid of that. I'm going to just put a couple of green, bit of, just break the edge of it. Give myself a problem. That's what Robert Zott does. Robert Zott's an artist, and he's an abstract artist, and what he does is he, you know, when he's not happy with his work at a certain point, sort of just needs something, he'll just get a bit of paint and put a line through it, and it says, now I've got a problem. And so you kind of do that. You kind of can put paint over bits that shouldn't go there. Even close your eyes and just a little scribble or something, and then you've got a problem you need to sort out. So it just adds to the drama of the painting. So you can just put a little bit more into it than you see. So I think I'm going to stop in a sec. Let's stop and come back to it, because I've got to fix this before I do any more in there. I'm going to lighten that bit up a little bit, another few tones of pink, maybe more salmon gummish or something like that. I'm happy with the background here, so that's good. And I'm even happy with that. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to decide, like, do I leave the edge blue or do I sort of paint it another colour again? I could do that. And just some little touch-ups, but that's basically the gist of how it's going to go. I could even, and I'll just, yeah, that bit there, I've got to solve that. But it's wet now, so 3 layers of paint, and I've got to let it super dry so that underpaint doesn't mix into what I'm going to put on top finally. And so that's that. That's my little study, my little commission, my little cockatiel. Nearly finished. From start to nearly finished.